Okay, whenever you tell me when we're live. We're live? All right, it is January 6th, and we're calling to order the Graham Appearance Commission meeting. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'll take a brief moment for our personal invocation. Okay, we have next on our agenda the approval of our December 2024 meeting minutes that were included by email as well as in person. And I just need a motion in a second. Okay, we have a motion by Emily Odell. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay, and Bernadette will second the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved as presented. Our next on our agenda is going to be the items of discussion, which is new business 5A, 2025 goals, ideas, and calendar. So this will be just an overview of a conversation of what goals this commission wants for this coming year, what ideas we want to look at, and then certainly we can continue the conversation into next month as well. But I'll open it to the floor.
Yeah, if y'all don't, I mean, I'll just give a brief overview too.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff, based on what we did last year and conversations we had last year, are pretty fixed. Arbor Day is always going to be in April. And then, the downtown decorating contest in December and things like that. But if you look at the bottom right, there were some ideas that kind of carried over from 2024 that maybe didn't make it onto the calendar for whatever reason. And those are just for you guys. You don't have to approve anything or do anything that's going to be set in stone tonight. It's more so just a look ahead and anything you guys would maybe say, oh, at the March meeting, maybe we can start to take a look at yada, yada, just something like that if you want. And I understand, the chair, Ms. Clark Baldwin's not able to be here. So it's however far you guys want to go with it tonight. And of course, it can be a continuing conversation into February. We'll probably start talking about Arbor Day, as you can see there. It's a couple months process because we do only get to meet once a month all together. So Arbor Day discussions usually start in that February meeting. But other than that, it's completely up to you guys. I just wanted to give you the brief overview.
I do think in July, we really need to start talking about the fall decorations, go through what we have, and start planning that. If we're not going to have a meeting in August and September, we set up in October. So I really think we need to have things in place in the July meeting. Again, like get into that room, lay out what's up, because some of those things are kind of beat up. I threw a lot of stuff away, but some of them we need new stuff.
And you could even call that meeting in August or September. Those no meetings were just kind of like, there's nothing evident to me that would make us meet that month. But if there's anything that comes up, we'll always meet. Or
right.
or Chair Clark Baldwin might have something that she likes to talk about. And we may meet for that. Or if you guys want to do fall decoration conversations in August, then you can add that there and we'll plan on having a meeting. So it's not that we can't have a meeting. I just want
Right.
I think at least August or September have something.
Yeah. Or one of the days. I mean, if we don't have a meeting August, September, that's fine. But, just start buying stuff and actually making a plan, like having a plan in place on how we're going to do it, because I feel like we just grab the bags and put things together, instead of having a real plan, so I think that we do need that. And do we send stuff out to the businesses about decorating for the fall?
I think that was something that came up this year. I tried to get in contact with, what do they call it? The Graham Area Business
Like a
Association.
Graham Business Association, but I thought you and
I went to it. There was there was just the mayor and her husband and then Sandy's and her husband, and that was it.
Yeah,
So there wasn't many
But I thought
business
you
owners there.
and, you and,
support. Yeah, we went around.
around and talked to
Mhm.
businesses. Okay.
and I can, I mean, I do have a master list of mailing addresses for the building owners downtown, so not necessarily business owners, because a lot of people do rent. But I can always send out a letter around that time and just kind of let them know to shoot me an email or give me a call if they're interested. But unfortunately, I mean, you can try to involve them as much as you want to, and even go down like Mr. Britt, and I know Chair Clark Baldwin went down at one point for the fall decorations, and we're talking to people.
Yeah,
And that may be how you handle
that felt a little rushed,
Right.
so I think like y'all said, like having that discussion with them ahead of time, or at least some kind of flyer or something saying, hey,
Yes.
we're doing these, we'd like your input by this time, or
I
if you would
agree.
like to do your own stand, we need to know at this time and. things
And
like
I
that.
think too, the same thing for the downtown window decoration in November. Like the same thing, we need to be ahead of it, like that should be going out September, October,
Mhm.
you know?
I do know this year, Miss Ward and Brandy from the Parks and Rec Department, they worked on a newsletter. I think they got sent out to a lot of people because they were asking me and Cameron in October or November, I think it was November, about the downtown decorating contest and wanting to know who won it last year. And so there was a flyer that I think was distributed
Yeah.
through email, like maybe the Graham Area Business Association had a list of emails that they send stuff out to. I think that's who did it. But I can always do the snail mail,
Right,
addresses and envelopes with flyers in them, or you guys could even try to meet and just start going into each business and handing them. I mean, I'm not telling you you have to do that, but if that's how you'd want to
and
handle
I
it.
think that actually would be nice.
Yeah.
So they get our faces and we get their faces and kind of get to know the businesses and, if you don't shop in downtown a lot, like just to, really get out there and hand it to them and have the conversation with
Yeah.
them.
Have we ever invited them to our own meetings? Like,
I mean,
like not just hey, there happens to be a meeting, like say, hey, why don't y'all come to this meeting or something
Yeah.
for.
Do you have any ideas or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think anything y'all'd like to do as far as outreach is really up to you guys. I mean, how you want to handle it. And again, downtown is easy to focus on, but you guys have all of Graham.
Yeah.
And so with the downtown decorating contest, obviously and the downtown decoration, yes, but, yeah, I mean, anything you guys want to do to get your name out there, and downtown's a good place to start, especially when we have so many events that seem to happen downtown.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if
Yeah.
there's that'd be something like you said, like the August meeting, you guys decide, okay, we're gonna want people to participate with fall decorations. Let's go out sometime in the next couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 of us, and hand out a few flyers. And then same thing in November for the downtown window decoration.
Right.
Hand out a few flyers and let people know that.
Well, even have a date. When are we setting up? So
Right.
we can tell the business owners too,
Right.
we're gonna set up on this date, if
Mhm.
you can plan around this time or something,
Yeah. I think firm dates are good. I think the problem with the last fall that just went by was the weather didn't seem to be on our side either, because there
Yeah,
was
it was-
those,
you're right.
it felt like a week straight where it rained on us, and then
The hay.
the police moved the hay bales for,
Yes,
reasons
that's
that they
right.
had. And then trying to get them back out when they were waterlogged was like
Yes.
a feat of strength, honestly. I mean, it was crazy. And so, yeah, it just didn't work out last year, but I guess I can look into it too. I don't know who told who what date to put the hay bales out. They just kind of appeared. So maybe us being more in the know about when those go out, so you guys can plan around that, because we do kind of have to wait until those go out, because I think that's Public
Right.
Works that puts those out for us, and they help out. They're great helps with that, but I could just talk to, Mr. Robertson and ask him.
Yeah,
when you
we
guys
can
put 'em
kind of get a
you know?
begin date and an end date, when
Yeah.
are we gonna get them
Yeah,
up
definitely.
and hopefully have the town, and the same thing with Christmas.
Mhm.
Some of the buildings were after we voted, and so it's
Mhm.
kind of like to get everybody on the same page, we're hoping to have the decorations up by this date.
Yeah, letting
You
them know
know,
when we're
so-
gonna look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that flyer, yeah, I think it's just about maybe doing something ourselves with something like that. Cause I did put all that information on the flyer, like, hey, I'm gonna go look at them the morning of, December 2nd or whatever date that was.
Yeah,
And then I'll take pictures and they're gonna vote on them that night. So if you don't have it up by that date, unfortunately, you're just not gonna be.
judging will
Right.
commence on, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
so-
And that's
More
what,
formal communication.
yeah, and that'd be something as these events, the summer comes around, when we know what firm dates we want to work with, you guys just, but it's good notes to make about, I've got them down here about when to set firm dates and planning out participation more.
So Evan, Bernadette will probably remember this. We used to have, an award for a business,
Mhm.
beautification where like, I remember we awarded Wendy's one time. You remember that? What
Yes,
happened to that?
Ever since I've been with you guys, I don't remember that coming up. Now I have seen, when I overhauled the website and just kind of updated it because it had not been,
Yeah.
because we were busy. I did see that there was a business beautification award. I mean, that's up to you guys if you guys want to open that back up. I didn't know if there was a reason it wasn't talked about anymore or it wasn't ever really on.
I think it's just been lots of transition.
Yeah.
Which is probably it. But, I mean, you're right. Like we focus a ton on downtown, which is the heart of our city.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I know for the grants, we have Trailhead that's won some and some off of Hardin
Mhm.
Street. But really, how do we, cultivate that whole appearance, component for the entire city? I think that's what we probably should have a goal of this year. How do we branch out of it? Clearly downtown is a focus, but how do we branch out and start making some impact or just awareness to the others? And maybe that's, I don't know.
I agree with you too, going down the corridor, to the different areas, yeah.
Mhm. I think it's a good idea.
Off of Hardin Street and,
Mhm.
there's so many businesses down there too,
Yeah, I made a note for that. And it could be something where around April or May, once the Arbor Day stuff calms down, we could do a summer one. And then when, of course, everybody loves to put Christmas decorations up. And I think a winter one would be a good idea too, just to give, well, you can do different things with those times of year. Feels like those are the best times of year for something like that.
I mean, and I know some of that takes the city, like if there's key spots in the city that are focal points,
Mhm.
then, is there a splash of extra flowers put there or pots or, I mean, some communities, and I'm not saying that, Graham is not a great community. I'm not saying that at all, but like I see like City of Burlington, they have, New Leaf has invested a lot there. And then you have City of Mebane has got planned and they have public artwork. So what
Mhm.
could be a piece where we start making these focal points that are really, noticeable for citizens that say, hey, this is like looking better. And there's an enhancement to the city. I think those are ways that we can get even people to take more pride in,
Mhm.
the appearance.
Yeah, and that's probably something I can work on doing better too, is getting you guys more information on ways you guys can branch out. And I mean, I know everybody has, their own jobs and stuff going on, so it's not a ton of pressure for somebody to take it all on themselves because they're not gonna be able to do it. But if New Leaf has, I think they have meetings. I think Cameron attends them.
Okay.
So I could talk to him too even. But I think they have meetings because are they the ones that are in Glen Raven? They have like a nice building. Yeah, Cameron, the planning director, Cameron, he goes and attends those. So I could mention to him maybe if one of you guys tag along and would join, or if there was a way to get you guys invited. I'm sure they would love to have somebody from in this kind of capacity. And like the Alamance Arts, they recently invited me or someone in the planning department, I think it's going to end up being me, but to sit on their board or some kind of, like board where people from the community meet. So that's a good opportunity to maybe get some ideas how we could work with them. Cause I mean, they are Alamance Arts. They do a lot of good things beautification wise. I mean, public art is a big focus for them, I'm sure. And so that'd be a good contact to have as well. So I'll just look out for opportunities for that, at least to get you guys connected with them and then see, like you said, I'm sure New Leaf would love to do some stuff in Graham. It's just we haven't maybe made the best connection as of yet. And I'm sure Cameron's working on that, as well. And I can talk to him about Appearance Commission fitting into that and what kind of opportunities they have. Because I know they helped when we did the Arboretum tour. That was one of the main players and how they got that Arboretum up and running was their work with
And
New
that was a
Leaf.
great field trip.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah,
a
I
field
was
trip
bummed
there.
I
It was a
didn't
great
make it,
field
yeah.
trip.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's just good to see, yeah, Burlington did
Yeah.
something good. I mean, the kind of things that,
I mean, knowing that perhaps the, I'm gonna call it a pergola, but it's not a pergola. Perhaps the, Sequential Park
Uh-huh.
may or may not be there. Like, that is definitely a focal point that is very appearance beautification for the
Mhm.
city. So if that perhaps is gonna be refunctioned, who knows where the decision stands on that? Then are there other pieces that we can say, hey, here's where we want to make this coming into the community? There's a Graham, like Welcome to Graham sign off of Hardin Street, like those
Mhm.
areas, could we do something that really helps? And I know that's a bigger conversation in this board, but as we go into budget season,
Mhm.
if that truly, when you go to Mebane, you're in Mebane. When you go to Berkeley, so like we want that for Graham. And
Yeah, I
so how do
agree.
we cultivate that?
Yeah, I think, you guys too are kind of like, eyes and ears for city council. If you guys do notice something like that, obviously there's money that will need to be,
Earmarked area.
right, exactly. It's gonna be expensive, or somebody's gonna have to buy it, write the check, and that's gonna be council. And so, if you guys put together something though that says, oh, there's, when you're coming in off 54, there is a Graham sign. I don't think there's one on 87 unless it's one of the green signs that just kind of says city limits. I don't remember if there's one on,
Like coming
think
from
like this-
south.
yeah, coming from south
there's
here
not.
and even from north of
There's not.
here.
No, but right where that billboard is, right before the McDonald's, there's like that little grassy.
Yeah.
That is like a perfect spot, like
I think
that,
that, yeah, and I think that
Yeah.
belongs to the school board if I'm.
oh,
ABSS, I think owns that. I'm just
Okay.
guessing, I think. I think I looked at something.
annexation.
Well, they're in the city limits, but if they want to sell the one they made.
Eminent domain, is that?
Oh, yeah, we could, good luck with that, yeah.
But
But
you're
no, I
right,
get your
though.
point.
We do, I
Mhm.
mean, as
Yeah,
soon as you hit Mebane, you're in Mebane.
yeah, I
And
mean,
as soon as you
it's-
hit the city of Burlington and
Yeah.
Elon and all of those.
yeah, there's these mile marker, like it just in public art and planters and things that really have a unified look for that city. And so
Yeah, and these are things that are big, but I think that, like I said,
you got to start
you're right.
somewhere.
And you
Yeah.
guys do have the role for the city of Graham to focus on enhancement and beautification. And yeah, I'm sure council would love to hear about any of these things that maybe, they don't go into every meeting thinking about how can we make Graham, pleasing to the eye. They're doing other things. And sometimes that'll come up,
That's why you have us.
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That you guys continue to
Yeah.
come up with other ideas and don't be scared to show up to a meeting. You don't really need my permission. It's public and you guys all are Graham residents. And you can stand on your position as, a member of the Appearance Commission and at least be heard and see, and anything you want me to run up to Aaron and see how we could get on an agenda, stuff like that. That's what I'm here for too. So it's just about what you guys decide. Like Miss Ray is saying, signs or planters or something, just suggestions about making that area and making Graham feel more beautiful. That's what you guys are here for. So I think those are good ideas though.
All right, do you have flyers, handouts?
Yep.
And there's still nothing about the veteran banners or anything like that. Has that been brought up? Do we need to go to one of these meetings and
Well,
bring it up?
And that's why to the calendar. No, it hasn't come back up. I think it kind of just cycled through and wasn't immediately something that got approved. So it'll come back around, I'm sure. But yeah, I think it's on kind of hold right now on the council side. I know you guys had a pretty good semblance of an idea of what you guys were trying to do. But yeah, maybe bringing that back up before council. Because unfortunately, a lot of what they were going to do was going to determine what you guys were going to be able to do. As far as like how many banners you guys were going to actually have to put into this program or how many they were even going to order to begin with. But if you have, like you were saying, numbers and stuff like that, I can see if Aaron would add it to maybe like one of the newsletters that goes out to the council members, like
Mhm.
weekly or monthly, and see if he thinks that would help get it back
Okay,
to being an idea.
yeah. And I don't know if you two are aware, but the town that I grew up in New Jersey, they had, and I don't know if you can find the pictures. They had the banners on the poles with all the veterans and stuff, and it was so nice. Drive down these roads and just, they were lined up. Now, the people were responsible to pay for them and everything like that. We would just be responsible for the labor, of course, the town. But it was really, it was just so nice.
Do you have to
see.
be a resident of the city?
Yes, or grew up in town or
Okay.
something. You had to have some sort of, tie to the town. And they put them up. Was
I don't
it
think
in-
this is a-
in May, I think. They put them up before Memorial Day and then took them down after Veterans Day. And they cost about $125 a piece. So, but it was really, and a couple of towns that did it up there. In the town that I was from, they did the red, white and blue. So it was really brilliant. We went through another town that was almost like a black and white and brown, and it wasn't as, stunning, but these it really, I just think that would
Sounds
be a
great.
statement. Getting off that interstate and coming into town, that would be, because those flags go all the way down to Wendy's and so on, so you can really do something.
don't
And I think they said there was like 70 something poles
Yes,
that they could
something like that.
use. So, some of them can be double-sided, not all can be though, so. But it really, I just thought it would be such a great statement. It really,
I
it really
don't
would
think
be.
we'd have any trouble finding 70-some people. that
I
would,
don't
you
think there
know,
would be
I
any
don't think that
problem at
would be-
all. I think that we'd have a waiting list.
Yeah.
Really
actually.
cool if he has the,
Yeah.
Oh, that's very neat.
I don't remember.
I know-
I think last we heard, I remember about that was we were waiting on what the cost of putting them up was. Not necessarily the
Yeah.
cost per flag, but because there also is associated cost of putting them up.
But, right, and that would be the staff,
Yeah.
that they would do it. All right.
I thought it was recently, but I guess.
When
not.
did I do that?
it was right before Memorial Day, wasn't it? Because it was like, oh, no, wait.
Why was I up there? I was up there for a reason. What month was it? I don't remember.
I remember. Evan, why you look for that?
Mhm.
So, this is more of a clarifying question. So it's our role to go to the council, or is it for our designee to take back to the council
There you go.
our ideas?
I got it. Did it
Oh,
for you, Mr.
yes,
Conlon.
they're so cool.
Oh, okay, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Those are my brothers.
I love that.
They were awesome,
Aren't they
right?
fabulous?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would really be cool
Oh,
from
that's amazing.
Memorial
Yeah,
Day to
absolutely.
Veterans
And it would
Day.
make such a statement,
Yeah.
so much color coming into the town. It would really.
It
that's my
would,
dad and
it
my
would also
brother.
be something people would want to come see, right? It's
Yeah.
visitors, it's revenue, it's all of that. And the only reason I ask is, in a
Mhm.
county government setting, each of those commissioners will be assigned to boards and they usually bring back things to their,
Yeah, I
as
think,
part of their commentary.
I think that's definitely part of what should be going on, and we'll work on that, trying to
Okay,
get
okay.
it functional, but I mean, yeah, and like I said, anytime you guys want something that I can pass on as well, you can use me in that role too, or I know it's probably intimidating and maybe you don't want to do it, and I understand, but showing up to a meeting is an option as well. You don't have to wait for my permission to do it if you just want to be heard and, have a chance to have an open mic at the council meeting. But yeah, I'll work on maybe figuring out these lines of communication, and we'll look at getting those improved as the year goes on. I'll see if we can figure something out, or if with the new year, maybe we'll have a new liaison to, continue our good work that we're doing with city council.
Great. Any other ideas?
What do we normally do for Arbor Day?
It's usually a program.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's usually a program that you guys help organize. We have to do, so Arbor Day is actually one of the roles that we have to do as a Tree City USA. And that's why this is the Appearance Commission and the Tree Board. So it's actually one of the many important things that we do, but let's see. Trying to find.
Is it that third one that says events?
maybe, yeah, there was just some general events, but like,
What do we do? Poems?
yeah, there was a poem contest that I think,
Prior to, and then we
Mhm.
have an event that we hosted at Graham Park. So they planted a tree. They had the poem, typically they kind of had that. They had, Bonnie played on the, guitar. We have Smokey the Bear out there. It becomes like
Yeah.
a kind of a good 20, 35-minute event. And last year they planted the tree typically in honor of
Mhm.
a family or
Somebody,
something.
yes.
Somebody reaches out to the city to want to be that designee. And so it's a great event. I mean, it was great last year. It was wonderful. She had, one voice choir came out and sung a couple songs. It
Yes.
was maybe a good 15, 20 of
Mhm.
them out there singing as a choir. It was lovely.
yeah, the mayor dedicates the tree and we're a Tree City USA again.
And we
Oh.
had the schools involved, but the Preakness, the rehab, they wanted to be involved last.
Yeah, that
year
was one of
too,
the,
Right?
yeah, and this is gonna be great for, not saying stop talking about it, but I'm just saying for next month when Chair Clark Baldwin's here, hopefully too, and I think, I'll check with Brandy, but usually when her and Mr. Covington show up about the tree for Public Works, and then Brandy's really good about the events, and the Parks and Rec Department likes to get, they have events as well for Arbor Day. And so maybe they'll be here next month, but I do know that Chair Clark Baldwin, that was one of her notes from last year, was that there were people, we focused on, school age children for these events to, get them involved and get their creativity and appreciation for Arbor Day. But for the older residents of Graham, like at the Peak Resources home, we could reach out to them too and see if they
Yeah.
would participate in a contest like the poem contest or any of the other events you guys decide to do this year. But
And we do get donations from town to, for gifts, little prizes for the poems and, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, one of the ideas I had that I've seen at other places, because I've attended many Arbor Day events in my official
good.
role, is a tree giveaway. Essentially, any Graham citizen or something can, get a couple seedlings or something. Not like potted full,
Mhm.
because you can get seedlings from most nurseries. North Carolina Forest Service Nursery, for instance, does hardwood seedlings and things like that you can give away. I mean, you have to buy them, but so that would be a cost for us. So
We did talk about that last year. We never, we were trying to get them donated, or I was trying and I didn't get them, because that would be great. Like, hey, here's seedlings. How many trees are we able
I
to
can't really
plant?
say anything about donating.
I-
Might be a conflict there, but
Money, we have a small budget, that we have, and if that's where we feel, an allocation to that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
certainly.
mean, they're fairly inexpensive when you talk about seedlings, like
Yeah.
they're 1-year-old
Mhm.
seedling. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bare root, you just kind of, the best thing to do is usually wrap them in wet newspaper to hand them out, because then they'll stay somewhat wet. But if we do the thing in April, they'll kind of want to put them in the ground like right away, not like
Mhm.
wait a long time and stuff. So
Yeah, that's.
I know we used to do that down in Wilmington every like January, I say, because it was always cold out. They would do a big tree giveaway. It started after a hurricane, and to try to reclaim some trees that were, falling over and stuff. And we do it at the mall, and it would pull in hundreds of people.
Mhm.
I love the idea, because we are the tree board. We do need to certainly replenish trees. Of course, they're not gonna be like a good, 5-year-old tree that's going up
Right,
there, but,
Mhm.
but if you, if you.
But I'm
you
wondering, are
nurture
there any
them-
grants or anything out there for that?
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well, yeah, and I know Brandy has her
or a business
partners.
that wants to
Mhm.
donate type thing.
Yeah,
That easily.
It depends on the types of seedlings you're gonna hand out. Pine seedlings are cheap, whereas the hardwood things are a little bit more expensive, but you get them like, it's usually like anywhere from $50 to $80 per like 500. So you get a lot for,
wow.
yeah,
Like,
they're not,
do that.
yeah, they're not that expensive.
Well,
But it depends on how many you're handing
Yeah,
out. So
yeah.
they did one in Cary one year for their Arbor Day event, and they had people sign up ahead of time, and they didn't even have enough for everybody.
Right.
So you really gotta plan it out, you're gonna have a lot of really
Yeah.
mad people that didn't get one or something, or,
Well, that's a good,
or just do a first come, first serve and.
yeah.
I like first.
Well, that's a good thing. I mean, when Brandy's here, maybe she'll have some thoughts on it too. She's really good at the programming and advertising stuff that she does with the Parks and Rec department. But yeah, I put it down. We'll have it.
Revisit it.
Yeah, we'll want it for next
Yeah,
month.
fine.
I mean, because even, we'll start next month with talking about the basics of this and when everybody's here. And we can talk about what maybe we want to change from last year if something wasn't really as, like, I didn't hear much about, what, I don't want to say, but I don't remember hearing a ton about the rock hunt, so I don't know if that, Brandy could remind me how that went. Yeah, so if you guys wanted to say the rock hunt or something, and then we do a tree giveaway, or, the poem contest was nice because we did have people come out and read at the Arbor Day. Yeah, it was
I
good.
think we need to get ahead of the schools though with that too.
Mhm.
Like, in March, really
Mhm.
throw it out to the schools, promote it to the
Oh.
schools or whatnot. This way they have
Mhm.
time to,
Well, I'm glad it came up because I'll email Brandy and Tim probably tomorrow or maybe by the end of the week, just to give them an extra heads up that we'll start talking about Arbor Day next month if they want to come out and, help us out like they did last year. So should be no big deal. But it's a good thought. I mean, yeah, that's the kind of stuff I think that would help get interest increased in an event like this. Sounds like fun and, people would love to get, who wouldn't want a tree,
yeah.
Sadly, I think most of them end up getting,
Well,
dying
They
before.
don't,
even
yeah,
actually
they
get
don't
the
really
girl.
make it, but some do.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Some people look for them every year at different places. so-
it's funny. So my father bought a ton of those. They were a certain kind of pine. And I remember planting those and you see those things, they'll start getting bigger and now they're huge.
Yeah.
Like, it takes
Aw.
years and years and years and years. But, they've become like borders or whatever. It's,
Mhm.
they definitely are good for people to do that. And I think also through, like, maybe there's a partnership with Cooperative Extension, Soil and Water Conservation. Sometimes they have those type of things, or forestry
Yeah.
in that office as well. So, yeah. What other ideas? Anything else?
That's the only one I had.
Good idea. Bernadette, anything else?
No, I think next, if we just get ahead of ourselves
Mhm.
and actually plan things, we'll be
Well,
better.
I'm gonna update it and I can send this back out and you guys can keep a copy. And always reference it if you want to, or we can always talk about adding stuff to it, a few months ahead of time, or just at a meeting in, March, if you want to say, well, hey, in May or June or July, let's look at talking about, this and this. So you can always bring it up too. It's not, just because it's on the calendar now, doesn't mean it won't be a couple months from now if you guys decide to add something to it. It's up to you guys. This is all you.
Emily, you have anything else?
I like the litter cleanup idea.
Mhm.
I know I volunteered to do that with the chamber last year and it was very powerful, just knowing how much happens.
Mhm.
So I mean, even if you had city officials or, if we had a specific 2-hour time slot,
Mhm.
I think that would be a really neat idea.
Yeah.
And I think we heard that when they do that, they give out trash bags and whatnots, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
some of, if they're organized, they do. I think the NCDOT one, we would have to, organize our own, but I think they do have materials that they'll give you during certain, I don't know if that's only during like their litter cleanup weeks or if it's all the time. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but,
And I think that our thing last year was where to do the cleanup.
Mhm.
The parks, I think,
That's what
It-
got pushed, but really the parks are fairly clean. It's
Yeah,
the
it's
roadways
the-
that are.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and the
It'd be hard to
roadways.
identify public, I mean, it's tricky because the roadways, yeah, some of that is public, but then to a point, then you're getting on people's property, which, I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't mind, most people wouldn't mind you picking up trash on their property. I just don't want us marching onto people's property and getting ourselves in trouble or, confronted or something. So the only reason I think the parks got floated around was because, I mean, there is staff at the parks pretty often, and like Ms. Ray was saying, they do a good job cleaning up the trash for the most part, but there's always more trash, on public spaces or even
yeah.
sidewalks and stuff like that. And I could we could brainstorm some ideas about location, but yeah, that was one of the things we had gotten passed to me by DOT last year and we just didn't get a chance to do it, which is fine, but I wanted to add it to this list in case you guys wanted to revisit it this year at some point.
So where did you do it last year?
So we had a couple options. We did the right off the interstate, exit 145. We saw some very interesting things. But it was amazing to see how many people, like just what people littered and the amount of trash. I mean, it just felt good trying to help. And
How many
granted,
trash bags you get, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was,
And what
was
other
nice.
options were there? If there
it was
one?
that intersection or the exit 143 right off the interstate. So both were right off the
Okay, right
interstate.
there.
I think that interstate's pretty popular and I think DOT does a lot of them or helps facilitate a lot of them.
Mhm.
Like those interstate interchanges, even the ones that are coming down onto 87 or 54. I think most of that area is still managed by DOT. So if we do help clean up, I can always reach out to some people we work with for some other staff stuff and they could at least tell me who to talk to or maybe when the next one is and I could come back and report to you guys. Because if we're looking for someone to help us out with materials and a location and stuff like that, then we're gonna probably need to go to like an organization like DOT. If you guys were gonna just say, hey, Appearance Commission is hosting this at Bill Cook Park or Graham Regional Park, what do you want to do? But that's a different, I mean, if y'all don't want to deal with that, I understand. Just doing that action of the litter cleanup would be great, I think, for you guys
I
anyways.
think there's also that Creek Week, where it's
Mm.
another entity that will, Sustainable, maybe NC does it where you would, clean up creeks or waterways. Maybe it's like the end of March
Mhm.
every year annually.
Okay, I'll look into
And
that.
so there's like, it serves dual purposes.
Yeah.
But that could be something, and maybe it's just something that we coordinate. There's just like the Allen Beach Chamber, there's 2 locations. You put it on Facebook. We divide up where, 2 of us are one place, 2 of us are one place. But then we get other volunteers in the community engaged
Yeah,
in the community.
it's definitely something we can try to get more people involved in. So I can look at Creek Week and then maybe see if DOT has any litter cleanups coming up. Hopefully the weather, I'm sure the weather would need to be a little better.
And kind of work with them and see what do they do, how do they do it, and then maybe we can branch off on our own, but to kind of,
For the first one.
yeah,
Yeah.
get the, process.
Yeah, I'd imagine the spring would probably be the first. I don't know if they do any in January.
Yeah.
Mm.
we're not doing that.
That'd be my guess. I don't know.
Anything else?
Hmm. Do we have like I mean, I know we have a City of Graham logo, but like a fancy G or anything like that we could start some of that brand recognition, like Ishin, like in the planters and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do we
mean,
have anything like that?
we have branding. I don't know. I mean, the one I see is the one that, like, if we get any shirts, it's printed on. It's just the Graham that's in the square.
This right here.
Yes, on the top of your
Yeah, okay,
agenda.
okay.
I think there was a G, I don't know, actually. I don't know who even is in charge of our branding these days. I think it'd probably be something council's done.
I mean, just thinking back to the whole, you enter Mebane, like I can see that with the flower, with the dogwood, instantly I know what that is. And even with Burlington. Yeah, so I mean, if we had something to
Yeah.
kind of use,
Mhm.
to help
Find out who's into
differentiate.
the branding,
Oh,
who does the branding.
yeah, or you guys could just, one of y'all draw something up and
Yeah.
start putting it all over the place.
We don't need
No, I know.
elementary education
You
here.
got a design in your head?
Yeah. No, this is the main logo I've seen. I mean, they have the city seal, which is behind you. That's a little more formal and I don't think is very conducive to just putting it in a planner. It looks kind of just like any seal. So yeah, that's something interesting I hadn't really thought about, but I think, I mean, obviously someone has done the branding because this is pretty uniform across a lot of our,
Maybe this is the
Stuff.
square mile, like, maybe that is what that.
yeah, it
Even
could,
though it's rectangle, and I wonder, yeah, maybe it does have some secret meaning.
maybe it does. I don't know. I wasn't, I'm not privy to it if there is one.
Like, within the city block, there's a square mile.
Oh, okay.
You
Like the
live within a
downtown block.
mile, you're a
Mm.
square mile.
Or a square mile or something like that. There's something like that. All right, any other ideas to discuss today, even though we know we'll continue this for next month, but for ideas, goals, or calendar items? All right, Evan, any city council or staff update?
None that I can think of. But I appreciate you guys being here and starting 2025 on a good note. This was a productive meeting, and hopefully we'll just stay on top of all our dates. I'll do my best, and I know you guys, I appreciate you guys showing up every month. And yeah, it should be a good year. I'm excited.
All right, with that said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So we adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor, we're adjourned.
Aye.
Thanks.
Gotta hit the gavel.
Yeah, right there.